Welcome to Mr. InfoPoints. Today we are going to talk about one of the most dangerous, costly, and surprisingly common problems happening every single day across American roads. It's an issue that most people underestimate until the moment their life changes in an instant. And that problem is driving without insurance or driving with an invalid, expired, suspended, or completely non-existent driver's license. You might think this doesn't sound as dramatic as speeding, drunk driving, or distracted driving. But in reality, this is one of the most financially destructive and legally devastating mistakes you can possibly make on U.S. highways. It's something that can turn a normal day into a nightmare and something that can follow you for years, even decades, affecting your job, your family, and your financial future. And yet, despite the severe consequences, there are still millions of people who get behind the wheel without the most basic legal requirement: proper insurance and a valid driver's license. Let's start by imagining a simple scenario. You're driving on a normal morning, going to work, maybe dropping your kids off at school, maybe running errands. You're following the rules, the speed limit, staying in your lane. Everything is normal. Then suddenly someone pulls out of a parking lot without looking, crashes into your car, and before you even understand what happened, you realize something even worse than the accident itself. The other driver does not have insurance. No policy, no coverage, no protection for you or for themselves. Maybe their license is expired, maybe suspended, maybe they never had one in the first place. You might think, okay, the law will handle it, but the law can't magically produce money for repairs, injuries, lost wages, or medical bills. And when someone doesn't have insurance, it means someone else, often the innocent victim, ends up paying the price. Driving without insurance is not just a simple traffic mistake. It's not the same as forgetting a seatbelt or rolling through a stop sign. This is considered a direct threat to public safety. It's a violation that can cause financial damage far beyond what the average person can afford. And in a country where medical bills can reach tens of thousands of dollars within hours of entering an emergency room, one wrong move by an uninsured driver can destroy someone's future. And this is not a rare situation. According to multiple U.S. studies, nearly 1 in 8 drivers on American roads has no insurance at all. In some states, the number is even higher. That means every time you drive, there's a good chance the person next to you, in front of you, or behind you might not be legally allowed to drive, and they might not have the basic coverage required to pay for the damage they might cause. Now let's talk about why people drive without insurance. For some, it's a financial issue. Insurance in the United States can be expensive, especially in states with high accident rates. Some people think they can save money by skipping insurance for just a few months, believing they won't get caught. Some drivers lose their license due to DUIs, reckless driving, or previous violations, but continue driving anyway because they think they need to get to work. Some drivers are undocumented and fear the legal system. Others simply believe they won't have an accident. There's always a reason, but none of the reasons change the fact that driving without insurance is illegal, dangerous, and potentially life-ruining. When someone gets caught driving without insurance in the United States, the consequences can escalate quickly. In many states, the first thing that happens is the automatic suspension of the driver's license. Sometimes the vehicle gets towed on the spot. The police officer doesn't give a warning. They take the plates, the car, or both. The driver receives heavy fines that can easily run into hundreds or thousands of dollars. And those fines don't replace the insurance policy they didn't buy. The penalties keep coming. Their future insurance, when they finally buy it, becomes more expensive because they are labeled high risk. Some states require State Route 22 insurance filings, a special type of costly monitoring that keeps a driver flagged in the system for years. And for repeat offenders, the consequences get even worse. Possible jail time, massive fines, and the permanent revocation of their license. But even all of this is nothing compared to what happens when an uninsured or unlicensed driver causes an accident. When they hit someone, they can be sued personally for every dollar of damage. And in the United States, the numbers add up fast. Medical bills, ambulance costs, hospital stays, physical therapy, lost wages, legal fees, the amount can reach tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands. And since they don't have an insurance company to pay the bill, they're on the hook themselves. If they can't pay, their wages can be garnished. Their bank accounts can be frozen. Their property can be taken. It becomes a long, painful process that often follows people for years. And the worst part is that many uninsured drivers do not have the money to pay the damages anyway, leaving the innocent victim without compensation. Let's talk about driving with an invalid license. Something many people think is not a big deal. But it is. A license isn't just a piece of plastic. It is proof that you passed the training, education, and vision requirements needed to operate a vehicle safely. When someone drives with an expired license, it means the government can't verify that the person still qualifies. When someone drives with a suspended license, it means the state already decided the person was too dangerous or irresponsible to be allowed on the road. When someone drives with a revoked license, it means they lost the privilege completely, usually due to serious crimes or repeated violations. And when someone never had a license at all, it means they're driving without any official training, testing, or legal recognition of their ability. Driving without a license is a serious offense, but driving with a suspended license is much worse. This usually happens because of DUIs, reckless driving, too many points, unpaid tickets, or insurance violations. When someone ignores their suspension and keeps driving, it tells the law that the driver doesn't respect the rules, the courts, or the safety of anyone else. That's why penalties for this are extremely harsh. In many U.S. states, this leads to vehicle impoundment, extended suspension, higher fines, and sometimes even jail time. Judges are especially strict because drivers with suspended licenses are statistically involved in more fatal crashes. Now, imagine combining these two violations: no insurance and no valid license. This is the worst combination possible on the road. An unlicensed driver is already high risk. An uninsured driver has no safety net. Put them together, and you have a driver who is both unqualified and unprotected. This is why police departments all across the United States actively look for these offenders. Automatic license plate readers can detect unregistered or uninsured vehicles instantly. Insurance databases update daily. Suspended license information is shared across states. It's easier than ever to catch offenders, yet thousands still take the risk every single day. Let's talk about the victims, the innocent people affected by uninsured and unlicensed drivers. Think about the single mother who gets hit by someone without insurance while taking her kids to school. She loses her car, has no transportation to work, and ends up paying medical bills for an accident she didn't cause. Think about the elderly couple whose car is totaled by an unlicensed teenager borrowing a parent's vehicle. They end up fighting with insurance companies for months. Think about the delivery driver, the Uber driver, the construction worker, the teacher, anyone whose livelihood depends on their vehicle. One hit from an illegal driver can take away their ability to earn income. And then there's the emotional damage. When someone causes an accident, even a small one, guilt sets in. But when an uninsured or unlicensed driver causes a major crash, the emotional weight is even heavier. They realize they caused a situation they cannot legally or financially fix. They panic. They freeze. Many of them run. Hit-and-run incidents in the United States are heavily linked to drivers who don't have insurance or valid licenses. They know they will face serious consequences if they stay at the scene. And that's how a bad decision becomes a crime. A simple accident becomes a felony. A moment of panic becomes years of legal trouble. Let's also talk about the social and economic impact. When uninsured drivers cause accidents, the entire system absorbs the cost. Insurance companies raise rates for everyone. Hospitals increase charges to recover losses. Taxes rise to cover hit-and-run investigations. Emergency services get overloaded. Court systems get clogged with cases that could have been avoided if everyone followed the law. Driving without insurance and without a license affects everyone, not just the offender. Now let's dive into the psychology behind why people risk it. Some believe they're good drivers and won't get caught. Some think they'll fix their insurance next week, but never do. Some drivers with suspended licenses convince themselves that they can drive carefully and avoid police. Some people underestimate the technology tracking them. Others simply don't care. But the truth is, accidents are unpredictable. You cannot wake up in the morning and guarantee that the day will go smoothly. You cannot guarantee that someone won't brake suddenly, that a tire won't burst, that a deer won't cross the road, that the weather won't shift. Driving is one of the most unpredictable daily activities in the world. And doing it without insurance or a valid license is like walking on the edge of a cliff hoping the wind doesn't blow. The United States has millions of miles of roads, from highways that stretch across states to small-town streets. Every day, millions of people drive to work, school, doctors, jobs, trips, vacations, family visits. Everyone expects that the cars around them are legally allowed to be there. It's a basic trust. When someone breaks that trust, the entire system becomes unsafe. And the sad reality is that many fatal crashes involve drivers who shouldn't have been behind the wheel in the first place. Now imagine what happens when police pull over someone without insurance or a valid license. The air becomes tense. The officer knows the situation is potentially dangerous because someone driving illegally might also be hiding something else. Maybe unpaid tickets, maybe warrants, maybe previous offenses. The driver becomes nervous, shaky, afraid. The officer becomes cautious. What could have been a routine stop becomes a stressful encounter. This is why law enforcement takes uninsured and unlicensed driving so seriously. They know that people willing to break these fundamental laws are more likely to break others. Let's explore the long-term consequences. When someone is caught, the record stays with them. Employers see it. Insurance companies see it. Courts see it. And in the United States, your driving record affects a lot more than your ability to drive. It affects your job applications, your background checks, your financial opportunities, sometimes even your credit. Driving illegally is not a small mistake. It is a permanent red mark on your life record. Now let's talk solutions. What prevents this problem? Education, awareness, responsibility, understanding that insurance is not just a legal requirement. It's a promise, a commitment to protect yourself, your family, and everyone around you. A license is not just permission to drive. It's proof that you earned that permission through training, testing, and responsibility. America is a country built on personal freedom, but freedom requires responsibility. Getting behind the wheel is one of the most serious responsibilities a person can have, because a car is not just a vehicle. It is a machine capable of destroying lives. Every person driving on U.S. roads should know this truth. Insurance protects you even when you're at fault. A valid license protects you by proving you belong on the road. Following the rules protects everyone else. And breaking them doesn't just risk fines or arrests, it risks lives. So to every viewer watching this video, do not underestimate the importance of insurance. Do not ignore the expiration date on your license. Do not drive when your license is suspended. Do not borrow a car without verifying the insurance. Do not let anyone else drive your vehicle if they are unlicensed. A few minutes of paperwork can save you from years of financial and legal disaster. A small premium each month can save you from losing everything you own. You might think you can't afford insurance, but the truth is you cannot afford the consequences of not having it. And to those who have lost loved ones, lost vehicles, or suffered injuries because of uninsured or unlicensed drivers, your pain matters. Your stories are the reason we continue making videos like this, because awareness saves lives. Knowledge prevents tragedies. And every driver who makes the right decision becomes part of the solution. In the end, driving without insurance or without a valid license is not just illegal. It is irresponsible, risky, and unfair to everyone else sharing the road. You never know whose life you might change with one mistake. So be responsible, be prepared, protect yourself, protect others, and always remember, the road is a shared space. Your choices don't only affect you, they affect every life traveling beside you. Subscribe to the channel for more facts, real stories, and practical guidance that can save lives. Together, one slow, sensible mile at a time. This has been Mr. InfoPoints. We aim to inform, to change behavior, and to save lives through clear facts, real stories, and practical guidance. Drive responsibly, stay alert, and protect not only yourself but everyone sharing the road with you. Arriving safely is always the most important destination. Stay awake, stay vigilant, and we will meet again in our next episode with another vital topic that affects everyday life.